It's important to try to make giving sub-Q fluids easy and low stress for your cat. One of the reasons that I like the wooden coat hanger is because it allows the fluids to be mobile, and you can take them to wherever your cat likes to hang out, rather than chasing them around the house for 30 minutes and making it a production. In this case, Mr. Wallace likes to have his fluids here on the sofa. So we've hung our bag up here on this lamp, and the higher and farther away the bag of fluid is from the cat, the faster the flow. And that's good, because that means it gets done quick. So we've hung our fluids up here, and Mr. Wallace is going to come and sit on my lap, and we're going to give him fluids in his flank today. So I'm going to lift the skin with 2 fingers, and I'm going to feel for my pocket, my little triangular shaped tent of his skin, and that is where my needle is going to go, right there in that tent. I'm going to roll up my wheel. I'm going to watch for a nice steady stream, which I've got. It's kind of like a faucet's been turned on. And then I'm going to give Wally his favorite treat. So he's going to lick at this syringe of Prescription Hills AD food, which is very syringeable and soft, like baby food. And the whole time he gets fluids, I am nursing this syringe. Teeny tiny little squirts. And he just continues to lick at it. And we'll make this work for the entire 150 ml dose for him. You might get a little on your pants. Whatever makes it positive. Wally is purring right now, which you probably can't hear or appreciate. But again, my whole point is that this does not have to be a nightmare. It does not have to be a production. Not every cat will respond this way, of course. But if we can find something they enjoy, it can be brushing, it can be food, it can be chin scratches, whatever works. Looking back to see where we are, we've already gone about 75 ml, so you can see how quick this process is. Give him a little bit more here since we're getting close to the end and he hasn't had it all. Wally is 17 years old this year, and he's had kidney disease for years. He gets fluids every day, and he does not care at all because he gets this when he gets fluids. And it is the best part of his day. Oh, and we're just about there at the 150 mLs, so we're going to roll our wheel down all the way tight. If we even leave it just a little bit up, 1/8 of an inch or so, you will have a leak. And we're going to take out our needle. We're going to cap this off. We're going to put a fresh needle on. But first, we're going to give Mr. Wallace the rest of his snacks. And that is how you can make fluids positive. Okay. This is Mama's. And we're going to give her some fluids as well, also in her flank. She usually has a little bit to complain about when we give her the poke, but please try to remember that a cat's skin is very thick. They're built for fighting. And yeah, I mean, they're being poked with a needle, but it's kind of like a mosquito bite to them. I mean, it's pretty mild comparatively. And to our sensitive skin, she also really loves a syringe of food. So she actually loves it so much that her and her daughter Wicca's will chew through the tip of the syringe. Simon is assisting, but we don't really need his assistance at the moment, and he's back. I understand. Yes, you can have some too. This is another example of find something they all like and give it to them even if they don't need it for meds, because there's going to be a day where they're all going to need fluids, or they're all going to need a pill. She's a little overzealous with the food. We'll go ahead and roll our wheel down, take out our needle, and let her go. So now I'm going to give fluids to a cat who doesn't really like getting fluids no matter what I do to make it positive. I'm going to give fluids to charcoal in the scruff of his neck. So I'm going to find his shoulder blades here. I'm going to tent the skin, and I'm going to pull off my needle cap, and I'm going to insert, and he's going to complain, because he always complains. I'm going to roll up my wheel, and now he wants to leave. But the more I restrain him, and the more I attempt to hold him still, the worse he is. One of the best things I've found for charcoal is vigorous chin scratching. It's really the only thing that keeps him from trying to leave and get away. If I hold onto the scruff of his neck, he does not like that. He tries to back up. So now I'm going to let him come over here. He can move around. He just can't leave. That was excellent. It's almost like we planned that. So he does try to escape quite a bit. I'll give him food for a few minutes, but it won't suffice for the entire time generally. But we'll let him have some of that yummy syringeable canned food. And as you can see, the other vultures are encroaching. And then he often will lose interest. It won't keep his focus the whole time for the full dose. But we're almost there. And the whole purpose of me showing you this is to show you that, yeah, not every cat is great for this. They're not. But we just have to find a way to tough love it. It's 3 minutes of displeasure for them to feel good for a long time. And sometimes they get away and the needle comes out and you've got a geyser of fluid all over your couch and yourself. And that's okay. It's just sterile water with electrolytes. Oh, we're almost there. If you've noticed, we haven't really stopped moving almost the entire time. But I wanted to show you that they're not all perfect. Here we go. Now he's going to leave. And he's gone. And that is giving fluids to an uncooperative cat. This is Peaches. And she is pretty much the cutest little thing you'll ever did see. She's going to get her fluids today, here in her flank. Tent the skin, just like we always have mentioned. And we'll go ahead and roll up our wheel and get flowing. One thing I wanted to mention is that not all cats need a food as a positive reinforcer. Peaches loves to be brushed. Loves it. And so we will brush her chin, her whole body, her head. We'll use the dematting comb. We'll use the slicker brush. We change it up. And it's a great way to help maintain her coat, which in her senior years, she is having a hard time maintaining on her own, so she definitely needs some assistance. But she happily gets her fluids each day, every day, and just gets brushed while we're doing it, because clearly she doesn't need the calories. So we try not to use food as a positive reinforcer for Peaches, because she doesn't really need a high-calorie syringeable treat. One other thing I wanted to mention about fluids, giving them in the scruff of the neck is fine, but we try not to do it there all the time. Because again, gravity's going to work. And the fluids are going to sink, and you can't really dictate if they might go down a leg, and then they get a big foot, and it takes a while for those fluids to absorb. So we try to focus on the flank area as much as possible, because then they just go to their belly, and they have, you know, some udders, and they're flopping around a little bit while those fluids are sucking up and absorbing through the cells of the body, but it's a little bit nicer to try to focus on doing the flank area as much as you can. Particularly as they're older and arthritic, those front legs are oftentimes pretty stiff, and having cold fluid float around those arthritic joints is just not very comfortable. Right, Peaches? She's such a good girl. Find whatever motivates your cat, and that is what you'll use to keep them having a positive experience with whatever treatments, therapies, pills you need to provide.